Fifth Vassa, 1965. I spent my fifth rains retreat, Vassa, at Wat Paศรีวิชัย in Banศรีวิชัย, Wanoniwat District, Sakon Nakhon Province. My old teacher, Luang Por Thoon, was the abbot there. Luang Por Thoon was the one who gave me the Dhamma topic of arise, cease, back when I hadn't yet ordained. That was the first time I had ever heard Dhamma from a forest tradition, Kammatthana monk. As a result, the topic of arise, cease had made a deep impression on me since then. Before entering this year's Vassa, a group of devotees, along with every monk and novice, samanera, in the temple had felt, "We are fortunate to have Ācariya Thoon with us for the Vassa. We will get to fully listen to the Dhamma during the entire Vassa." Once I heard the devotees, monks, and samaneras whispering this, I set about formulating a plan to not teach the Dhamma during the Vassa. I devised a plan. The only possible way was to observe the Tudanga practice of mukhavata, or to refrain from speaking to anyone during the Vassa. There would be 4 exceptions. 1. If Luang Por Thoon asked me something, I would have to speak, but I would not speak with other monks. 2. Upon becoming ill, if monks, samaneras, or doctors asked about my symptoms, I could speak. 3. I could confess offenses, apati, chant in homage to the Buddha, and do patimokkha chanting. 4. When a settlement of issues, atikarana, arose within the Sangha, I could help resolve it by speaking according to the code of monastic discipline, Vinaya. Other than these 4 exceptions, I would not speak to anyone. Once I had thoroughly established my plan, I kept it a secret. I would inform the monks and samaneras on the day we entered the Vassa. Then came the day we performed the ceremonies of entering the Vassa. After finishing the chanting, we thrice pronounced the formal dedication. Imasaming awase imang temasang watsang upemi. It means, I will remain in this monastery for this 3-month reigns. Thereafter, I announced to the group of monks and samaneras, "From now on, I will observe the Tudanga practice of mukhavata and will not speak to anyone during the entire 3 months," and instantly clamped my mouth shut. Upon hearing those words, the monks and samaneras implored me to retract my vow, satta, but their entreaties were futile. Once one gives one's word, satta, one must abide by it. Thus, the monks, samaneras, and devotees were filled with disappointment, complaining that Ācariya Thoon shouldn't have done that. Whenever someone came to talk to me, I would merely smile at them. During this Vassa, my practice progressed immensely because I didn't talk to anyone. Because I wasn't talking, I didn't have to discern what words to use in speaking, nor did there exist in my mind the preoccupations, aramana, that resulted from discerning those words. Talking necessitates thinking and considering things to talk about. But since I wasn't speaking, why would I even think about those topics? After 2 months, the results of not speaking were clearly noticeable. Whenever I meditated for serenity, the mind, citta, became calm very quickly. Normally, I was already quick to attain that calm state. But now that there weren't any preoccupations, aramana, related to speaking, it was attained even quicker. When I concentrated on a meditative word, parikama, or meditated on in-out breathing, within a few minutes the citta would quickly and soundly settle into a calm state of concentration, samadhi. Once the citta withdrew from that meditative state, I would direct the mind toward continuous wisdom, paññā, contemplations of the ultimate truth, Satchadhamma, that corresponded to the truth of reality. I came to understand and see according to the truth much more clearly. The joint use of meditation, samadhi, and mindful wisdom, sati paññā, allowed for constant continuity. Each night, each day, and each hour never went to waste. Though there were many monks and samaneras there, it was as if I was by myself because I didn't think about interacting with anyone. The mind was constantly in a state of oneness. One night, once I had meditated to a serene state, I experienced a vision, nimitta, of a man dressed in distinguished formal attire, like someone in a royal palace. He was leading a saddled white horse toward me. The horse was huge and incredibly beautiful. The man said, "This is your horse. In not too long a time, you will definitely get to ride this horse." Then my citta withdrew from meditation. I thought about how the horse must ride especially well and differed from the white horse I rode in my first Vassa. This horse had sleek white hairs that sparkled and shone like diamonds. The horse I had previously ridden had white hairs akin to cotton. This horse's hairs gleamed and glistened throughout his entire body. I was confident that one day in the future I would surely get to ride this horse. When the Vassa and Katina were over, I wished to Tudanga in the south. Eventually, that wish came true. That journey to the south was filled with every convenience. I'd like to compliment the people of the south for their memorable hospitality. Whenever the bus reached a stop, after the driver and passengers, with whom I was not previously acquainted, had completed their personal errands, they would always buy me a soda, coffee, or other beverages. When they made the offerings, they were respectful. They were friendly, generous, and attentive. It was as if we had been relatives before, or as if I were a teacher, Ācariya, they already respected. They even asked me, "Do you need anything?" Seeing all of this, I felt incredibly proud. I reached the Kuapa district right at lunchtime. Everyone disembarked to get something to eat. A samanera and I sat at a table, and the passengers purchased a lot of food to offer to us. They went about as if I were a monk related to them or a teacher they already revered. Their physical and verbal deportment was deferential and markedly humble. That was back then. I imagine it's still the same now, as Southerners are a gracious and hospitable bunch. To this day, the goodwill of the Southerners continues to make a profound impression on me. When the bus reached Kokgoi sub-district, I asked a middle-aged man, "Where is Wat Ratyoti? Which way do I go?" He replied in the southern dialect, and we couldn't understand one another. I asked that he speak in the central dialect, but he was unable to. I didn't know what to do. There was a man standing there, observing the hopeless conversation between monk and layman. He walked up to me and asked, "Venerable Ācariya, where are you going?" He spoke in the central dialect. What a relief. I told him, "I'm headed to Wat Ratyoti. Where is that temple located?" He replied, "It is over in that direction, but still many kilometers away." Then he said, "I will arrange a car to transport you there," and he hired a minibus to deliver me to my destination. The man I struggled to understand also gathered his things and accompanied me to the temple. Once we arrived, he helped remove my things from the minibus. I was amazed at the selfless, kind consideration the Southerners displayed. They even paid my bus fare. Would all Southerners possess such kindness? Not long thereafter, Luang Por Kampong Tiso led me on Tudanga to various places in the south. With the exception of Surat Thani, Yala, and Narathiwat provinces, my tour of the south was complete. I am someone who easily adapts to others, easily knows people's personalities, and can read people. The southern language is an easy language and is easy to understand. After 1 month in the south, I could speak the southern dialect. Many Southerners commented, "Other monks stay in the south for 10 years but cannot speak the southern language." The ability to speak the language and the ease in adapting to people was a double-edged sword. Without strong wisdom, it will make life considerably difficult for the ordained. That southern Tudanga trip is a long story that isn't fitting to write about here, as this book would become too thick. At the end of the Vassa, I returned to Wat Ratyoti.